Okay, we are live once again. This one may be, just out of fairness, may be a little less functional as I am just getting started with it. Let me go live on Amazon here. So, and I'm not sure what's going to happen with this. So we're going to, I am like at the very beginning of my testing, but I always like to bring you all in because I get some good ideas as to how we can make best use of this. And give me 1 second here while I get everything combobulated. So, if you're just tuning in, we're just getting started. This is called the StreamLocator. And what this thing will do, it's not a VPN. It is a device that, it kind of works like a VPN, but it doesn't route all of your traffic. It routes just enough that you can validate your location. So that's kind of what this does. And my plan is to come up with a few examples as to how this might work. And then, kind of shoot a video about it. So what I've been thinking about is a couple of things. One is, let me know how the lip syncing is today. I'm not doing Facebook, so hopefully that makes it work better. So one use case is that you can use this to watch UK television in the US. The challenge is you have to install or sideload the apps because you can't get them on the US App Store. So that's an issue. Second use case, sports. So you could log into The Zone, I think it's called. It's one of those streaming sports networks. And you could watch the NFL through Canada with one of these things. So there's some interesting use cases. Sports, UK television, that sort of thing. And it looks like, and I'll say hello to some people in a minute. This looks like a router, and it is. So what it is a kind of an off-the-shelf router. And by the way, they sent this to the channel free of charge for us to review in full disclosure. The way this works is kind of like a hardware layer. And because you're connecting to this router, you don't have to set up a VPN app on all the devices that you're using. So presumably, you could use this to connect your Rokus and your smart televisions, because all you have to do is connect to its Wi-Fi or to its Ethernet, and it's going to route everything for you. That's kind of that's the gist of how it works. So it's not like it's going to look like an off-the-shelf router, but it's not a router. And what will happen is that anything that it can't reroute, it will just pass through. So you could plug your game console into it, and if you're watching some video app, it'll route that way. So let me say hello to some friends before we get started here. We've got Romeric is here. We have Greg M is here. Reg is here from London. In fact, we're going to try to watch TV in London from here in Connecticut. I'm probably breaking some UK law doing it, but we're going to do it anyhow. BB Garnett is here. Arif Hassan is here, right on schedule with the Atari VCS. Michael says the audio sync is good. So Big Man says, is this a router with a VPN installed on it? So I just got off the phone with them. This does not have a VPN. So they do proxy things. And I guess what they do is they proxy enough to get the service to realize your location, and then everything is directly through it. So it doesn't mask your IP. So it is not a VPN. It is routing traffic, sort of like a VPN, but not providing the security, nor is it proxying everything. Thomas Woodford is here. Jassy S is here. Roblox Studios is here. Tyler James is here. And Patrick Chang is here. Hello. All right, so we're going to set this thing up. Now, what I've got running on the TV is my Google TV device. And I was going to do the Roku initially, but you can't sideload apps onto the Roku. So I reached out to them to see, like, what's the advice for Roku users who can't get these UK TV apps installed easily. So that's going to be something we have to explore a little bit. So we're going to plug this in. And what I'm going to have to do is connect to its its Wi-Fi, which we will do in a minute. It's got a bunch of antennas sticking out here. So we will take a look at that in a minute. And Big Man's wondering, is this before or after the router? So this will plug into your router. And so it's kind of like a double NAT situation. So what I'm going to do here, let me get my cable out. And again, I am learning all of this as we go here. So I am plugging this in. The WAN connector is what I'm going to connect my network to. Okay, so this is my router going into this router. So now we have the WAN connection. I'm going to put this in the middle of the table so I give you something to look at here. And then what I have to do is pull up my computer and log into it, which I will do in a minute. So let's see how this works here. All right. So the question is, and I guess so to answer Michael Kidd's question here, let me pull this up real quick. Right, so this will not necessarily improve your quality if you have a poor quality ISP. That is correct. Aaron Johnson is here. Greg M is asking, does it work with Netflix? It does not at the moment. It did work with it before, and I guess Netflix had a big change in how they operate, and so right now it doesn't work, but they're working on a way to make it work again. Non-Rev Guy says, what about the Apple TV? It should work with the Apple TV, because my understanding is that it's supposed to work with anything. So it'll route whatever traffic is going through. I will test the Apple TV, though, before I do the review, because I read somewhere that they route traffic a little differently, so I will find that out. All right, so step one here is we plugged it into that. Okay, so look at the back of the stream. Okay, so we plugged it into the WAN port. We did that. Plug the other side of the, okay, we did that. Connect the, okay, we did that. Unplug your ISP, what? Router from the wall. Wait 10 seconds and plug it back in. I'm not doing that, because I actually can't do that. Unplug your ISP router from the wall. Why would you do that? Okay, so now go to go.streamlocator.com. So let's see if I can get that going here. Go.streamlocator.com. Okay, so I have connected my router, and I'm hoping here that I don't mess up my internet connection here. So I've got to look for my activation code at the bottom here. All right, and I am just setting this up right now. So I will give you a view of my screen here in a second. All right, so let me separate this out, and I'm going to start streaming my desktop to you so you can see what it looks like. And hang on one second here. And we're going to have a review of this, so because I get complaints sometimes, this is taking too long. Well, that's because this is a live stream. So we will have a review that will be a lot shorter than the hour that this likely will be. All right, so right now the software is looking for my StreamLocator on the internet. So we will see what happens in a second with that. But what I will do in the meantime is get an idea as to what everyone thinks is happening here. So yeah, so you know what we'll do, Michael Kidd? We will see if it creates its own NAT. I suspect that it does, but we'll find out. Jose KB wants to know, what is this thing? So this is, it doesn't work as a VPN, but the best way to describe it is that it's a hardware VPN that will allow you to connect to services and appear as though you're somewhere else. So kind of like how you would use a VPN to watch the iPlayer, for example. So that's going to be the first thing we're going to try, is connect to the BBC with this. So that is what we're going to be playing with here. And Greg M brings up this game of whack-a-mole, and they will be fixing these issues as they pop up. And we'll take a look and see exactly how this works in a minute. And I'm still waiting for it to find the hub, and it says it might take up to 5 minutes to activate it, so we just got to give it a second here. DVD King says, what about third-party apps? So it only works with third-party apps. So anything that you connect to this over its Wi-Fi or Ethernet, it will route traffic for the apps that it supports. And once the thing activates, we will take a look and see what those are. Yeah, I think I typed in the code correctly, so let's just wait it out here and see what happens. But yeah, no Netflix right now. They do plan to support it in the future, so we'll see what happens here. Joltude says, is it playing ARP games? I don't think it's playing ARP games. I think it is routing via proxies what these services need to identify your location, but nothing more than that. That's how it was explained to me. So we will see what happens. Price on this one, I've got a link in the video description. I think it's $85, so you can check it out. Aaron Johnson says, does this device work with a lot? Yeah, let me show you the services that it works with while we're waiting here, because it's still trying to activate my service. So let me go in and show you the services that it works with. So let me pull off our thing here. And give me 1 second. Let me disable my notifications. Okay. All right, so just to show you what it works with. So if we go over here to channels, you can see, and this is the one thing that kind of bugs me, is that it shows Netflix here front and center, but it doesn't work with Netflix. So if you click on US, for example, it says Netflix is temporarily unavailable. So they do think it'll be working again in the near future. One thing that the guy told me about is DAZN. And if you connect it to Canada, you can get the NFL games for like $10 a month. And here's some of the other ones that it works with. And so it works with all of the, like most of the UK ones, like the iPlayer. That's what we're going to try in the stream today to see if we can get it to work. But it's limited to just these. So anything not on this screen doesn't work with it. So if you're looking at this, you might want to go to their website and see if the thing that you want to watch is covered here. And the one that I'm going to try tonight is MLB.TV, because what they say it will do is get around your local blackout issues. So in the US, what happens, so here's a great example. So I am not much of a sports fan, but I know enough about sports, at least locally. So tonight is a big game between the Yankees and the Mets. It's the Subway Series. And I can't watch it, even if I was a paying subscriber to MLB.TV, because I am in an area where it blacks it out. So where I live, I can't watch the Red Sox, the Yankees, or the Mets, which are the teams that everybody around here watches. So this will be a fun thing to try. All right, so give me 1 second here, folks, because I have to continue setting up this account that I've got here. And can I skip the, let's see, I don't want to do this right now. So the other problem is, let me just make a note. This comes with, here's the deal. It comes with a year of service, and after the first year, they charge you, here, I'll show you what it shows me here. So after the first year, you're going to pay this, $71.40 annually after the first year. So the first year is free. I'm just going to take a screenshot of this so I don't forget. The first year is free, and then after that, they charge you for the service. So $71.40 annually or $7 a month on top of what you're paying on the other ones. And it looks like you can't get out of this screen. Let me see if I can get around it. So I don't want to add a payment method right now. Yeah, it's like it doesn't let you move forward until you do that. So let me make a note here. And just give me 1 second. Yeah, you know, that's the one thing I don't like things that require you to give them a credit card for something that they're going to bill you for a year from now. Like if it doesn't work, you know, these are the things that you forget about. One thing that I have been using is a service called privacy.com, and that lets you set up these credit cards that you can like restrict, right? So you can get a credit card number and then you can just turn it off. So that's what I am going to do right now. So bear with me 1 second here, folks, while we work on this part of the setup process. And I'm going to create a new card here. And I can't show you this because it's like linked to my bank account, but just take my word for it. So I'm going to create a new credit card. And I do this a lot because, what is this? Green Goat Gaming. Oh, okay, I know what that is. Okay, so let me go do a search here for, and make a new card. New card. And we're going to call this StreamLocator. And I'm creating this in privacy.com, so it'll validate the card. And I'm just going to put a $1 month limit on it so they can't really bill it. And now that I got that credit card in there, I'll add the payment method. So almost there, folks. Yeah, so if you ever have one of these things where it tries to get you to give a credit card, if you go to privacy.com, you can set up an account and get a free, like just get a card that is like a single use kind of thing. And then you can set a limit on it so they can't bill you. And that for me has been a really helpful thing. Especially if you have like, you don't like giving your credit card out. I use Apple Pay whenever I can when I'm out and about. And almost there, folks. Oops. And the card number is that one. Okay. All right. And it's going to charge after 12 months, which it's never going to do because I have a limit on it. Yeah, so privacy.com, check it out if you haven't used it yet. It's really useful. I used to do it, see, what I used to do was on PayPal, you could set up these one-time credit cards and they stopped doing it. So privacy.com lets you do that. You do have to link it to your bank account. So, you know, there's that. But, okay. You know what I'm going to do here? I am going to record a little B-roll footage because this might be useful for later. So make a new folder here, and we're going to call this StreamLocator, because I was going to set up the process here so you can see how this works. So these are the services for relocation. Okay, so I'm going to set see, Netflix isn't going to work, so right now it's only going to work on the United States. Okay. So I don't have this right now, but I'm going to get an account for DAZN, so we're going to set that to Canada. And apparently that will let us watch stuff in Canada. And if you're outside the US, remember when we were covering Plex? So for example, Plex has all this free content that you can't watch outside of the US. So you can have it make Plex think you're in the US. And we'll try Disney Plus in the UK and see what happens. And I thought I would see more here, but I guess not. Okay, so that's it. So is that all I have to do here, huh? It looks pretty simple. All right. So now I think the way this works is that if I plug in, let me just go and record this real quick. All right, so now I think what I'm going to do is we're going to plug in with an Ethernet cable that it conveniently comes with here. Let me see if I have any questions from all of you. Yeah, so privacy.com, everybody. That's the one you want to try out. Michael's wondering if I'm working on a mustache today. No, actually, I did not spruce myself up this morning. So I wasn't planning on shooting any videos. I had some meetings today and stuff. So virtual meetings, mind you. So I have been just kind of not lounging around, but doing what I call office work today. All right. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to plug in my Google TV thing. I have an Ethernet adapter hooked up to it. I think this works with it. Let's see. If it doesn't, I'm going to have to find some other solution. It doesn't. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to connect the Google TV to this thing's Wi-Fi. And let's see what happens here. So let's grab my remote control. And what I'm going to do is go over to my settings. And we may have to come back to this thing because now they let you switch accounts for recommendations and stuff. So, all right. So here's the StreamLocator network. And I'm just doing this right now, and I'll show you what I'm doing when I connect to it. And we're going to connect to the StreamLocator. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so now we're connected, and it is double natting. So see that IP address? So my local IPs here are .2. This is 177. And now it's connected. Okay, so presumably what should happen now is if I go to the BBC iPlayer, let's see what happens. Okay, so I may need to close it out. Let me see if I can just close it out real quick. I just want to get like a real, like I wanted to shut the app down. Well, let's try it. Let's try it and see what happens. All right, so let's go back to the BBC iPlayer. And I'm sure there's some copyright stuff here, so I got to be careful with this. So I think they've got stuff that's live. Yeah, this will undoubtedly get me whacked, but let's see here. So this is live. And I'm going to try this real quick. So let's go watch live. And it's working. Yep, it's working. So that is working. And this is BBC, which I normally would not get. So let's try this now. So I'm going to go out to this and connect it to my other Wi-Fi network. And you know what's kind of neat about this is that if you can get the apps on your device, you don't have to run any other software because this thing is going to kind of act. Again, they told me that it doesn't work like a VPN. It works like a proxy smart DNS relocation thing, that sort of thing. So that's how it's supposed to work. Okay, so now I'm back on my regular Wi-Fi. And let's go back to the BBC iPlayer. Hang on one second, I just want to see who's calling me here. I get these calls for the stupid car warranty thing constantly. It's like every 5 minutes. Yeah, it's another one of those. All right. So let's go back now to that BBC iPlayer. And I don't believe it'll work now if I load it up again. This is actually good because we're loading up from scratch. They're probably going to like cancel my account now. All right, so here we are now on my regular Wi-Fi. And it's not working. Because we went back, right? So let's go back here to the menu. And what's funny is you can get into this thing and like browse around it on the US thing, but if I go to watch live, see? Doesn't work. Something wrong with the program with an E. And now let's go back again. So I mean, it works. I didn't have to do anything really other than connect to its Wi-Fi. So I'm going to reconnect to its Wi-Fi. So let's go back to my Wi-Fi networks. So I'm going to go back to StreamLocator, connect. And now it's going to connect back to the StreamLocator. Okay, so connected successfully. So we're back on their Wi-Fi now, right? So here's that local IP. Again, it's double natting. And let's go over to the iPlayer again. Now, the thing is, though, I had to sideload the iPlayer because you can't download the iPlayer on the US store. So this would work with a Roku, but you've got to get your Roku set up with an account in the UK in order to download the apps. So that's the one issue. So here we go. Watch live. Oh, it didn't work. I wonder if they're on to me. All right, so let's go and kill the app and like reload it. How do I kill the app? Give me a second here. Because I'm definitely connected to the StreamLocator. Yeah. So let me go kill the app real quick. So what we can do here is I can just go force stop. And let's go back. It did work the first time. But let's see if it'll work the second time. And hopefully I'm not getting like dinged on YouTube here. Yeah, I got to be really careful when I do the baseball thing in the review. So in the review, the baseball thing is going to just be blurred out because they will whack you for even like a second of footage. All right, so now we're going to load the iPlayer back up from scratch. Now remember, I am on the Wi-Fi for this now. All right, so let me go hit my BBC account here. All right, so now let's go back to... Yeah, and I think the marketing on this thing, let me go find something that's live. There she is. Okay, so we go live. Yep, there it goes. So it works. Pretty simple. So if you're looking for British TV, you connect your Roku to this thing or your Google whatever, and you're good to go. You're good to go. Now I want to answer some questions here because I think Mark makes a good point on this. Because this is an IoT device, right? And I think they were very clever in their marketing with this. So here, let me go find their website again here. So if you go to their homepage, and this is why this is not for a lot of you watching. So this is their tagline: "Leave the VPNs to the enthusiasts." Right? It's clever. I got to give them that. It is very simple. You just plug it in. So all right. So I'm going to see if there's any other channel. Let's look and see what other channels are out there, because apparently the UK has got a lot of these streaming apps that are all kind of free. So we just got the BBC iPlayer to work. Let's try ITV. I've heard of that. So let me go find a way to grab that, because I have to sideload these. So let's go ITV Hub. Here, your TV player. Okay, so this is probably what I'm looking for. So let's go and find the Android TV version. Let's go back here. Just give me a second. I'm just trying to find the watch live in demand. Let's see. I'm just trying to find the Apple TV, the Android TV version. Okay, here it is. ITV Hub. So that's the one I want. And bear with me here, folks. All right, this is the version I'm looking for. So download that. And we'll get that going. And I'll answer some questions while you're waiting. So this is another question. I did ask them about this. Apparently, it is a TOS issue, no question. And I'm sure if they caught you onto it, they would be canceling your account. I did ask them about Locast. Now, Ed, as you may know, Locast is now down because of the lawsuit. They are out. But they were looking at how to support Locast in multiple regions, but they were not able to get it ready in time. So that's what happened there. Okay. So I'm going to get this, so I'm going to call this ITV APK. And I'm just going to copy this over to my NAS real quick. And what I have to do actually is I've got to, actually I might be able to connect to it this way. Let's see what happens. So my friend, Elias Saba, has this great app that originally appeared on the Fire TV. It's called Downloader, which lets you download APKs very easily. And I just put them on my NAS, and I can just grab them locally. Yeah, there we go. Install that. And let's see how it works. So I think that's going to be the big impediment. It simplifies the networking component, but you still have to get the apps onto your device. And all for UK app. Lots of good content on that too. All right, we'll check that out. All right, let's wait for this to finish up here. Done. Okay. So let me delete the file. And now let's go over. I may have to set up an account, I am sure. But let's see what happens here. Yeah, and the MLB thing I'm going to try tonight. So I'm in a blackout zone, as I just mentioned. You could be paying for MLB TV, and you get blacked out of your local games, which doesn't make sense to me, but I guess that's how it works. So in my area, we cannot watch the Yankees, the Red Sox, or the Mets, which are like the three big teams in my neck of the woods. Nobody can watch them on a streaming thing. All right, let's go. Oh yes, and John, that's correct, John. So a lot of people were on the Amazon, and this is a lot of people on the Amazon reviews were saying, "Oh, it doesn't give you anything for free," and that's exactly the point. This is not. You have to have a subscription already to services for this to work. This is not a piracy device. It is a location changer. So that's why it's legal. It might be a violation of a terms of service or something, but it's that. Okay, so I've got to create an account. Oh, into my postcode. Okay, so I just need to find a postcode for London. So let's do this one. E1 6 AN. Oh, what happened? I think they just caught me. There it goes. I'm just going to browse. Oh, I think I may have to put that in there, don't I? Okay. Gosh, there's not like this is all like the Brit. So this is my wife might like these things. So where can I find live stuff? Let's see. Ready to mingle? Bob's Burgers, Supermarket Sweep. Is this the British version of Supermarket Sweep? Australian Ninja Warrior. This is cool. All right, so let's go over to categories. Or is there nothing that's live on this? That's the question. I'm just trying to find something that might be less likely to get myself knocked off my stream here. ITV3, there's a lot of stuff. Tell you folks in the UK have a lot of TV to watch. Of course, we have a lot here too. And my wife loves cycling. All right, so I'm just going to try to play this real quick and see what happens. Oh, I have to sign in. All right, so I've got to create an account. So bear with me, unless somebody wants to connect their account. itv.com/hub/pair. And we need to register. And I'm sure I'm going to get knocked off of these things. And I think too, like once they're onto you, like that's the end of it. You know, you're going to have to like be playing a little game of whack-a-mole. All right, almost there. And of note, these British things are free, although in Britain you're supposed to have a license to watch them, right? All right, I'm getting an issue with this. Submit. There's a problem setting up your account. All right, hang on a second. It's not giving me the ability to set up an account here. All right, this one we have to come back to. Yeah, it's not letting me create an account. Let me try a different one here. It must be thinking that I'm coming from a US IP because I'm logged in. Yeah, so I'm logged into my regular thing here. I wonder if I have to go to their Wi-Fi. Let's try that real quick. Now, what also happens with this, in case you're wondering, is that if you connect, it's not going to route everything. So it only routes the apps. So if you connect to it, it's not going to deny you anything. It's just not going to always be rerouting traffic, if that makes sense. I'm just going to see if it might work better if I go in this way. And I'm just also going to check and see what IP it's reporting. Yes, it's reporting my even though I'm connect. Oh, you know what? I'm on my Ethernet. Here, let me unplug this real quick. Bear with me, folks. I'm just going to change my service order. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull. It's going to knock off my thing. Hang on one second, everybody. Let me quit this. And I am going to set my service order temporarily so that my Wi-Fi is on the top. And let's see what that does to it. Okay. But I like getting these kinds of things into review because they're different, right? Yeah, so what's interesting is that it is showing, it's not even routing anything right now. It's actually showing my, my local IP when I look it up. But I'm not seeing that this thing is letting me, yeah, it's not letting me create an account. Let me try one more here. So I think they're on to me. Yeah, it just says there's a problem. Can't do it. All right, let me turn off my ad blocker and see if that has any impact. Yeah, not working. So that one I can't get to work. I'll have to play around with that a little bit more. Oh, it did let me in. Huh. I was not paying attention, and it was welcoming me in. Welcoming me in. Here we go. All right, it looks like it's working. So that works. So it's kind of seamless. I mean, if you have it, if you're routing your traffic through it, it's working. So that's pretty cool. All right. All right, let me see what we got here. So, my understanding here for the MLB blackouts is that if you are a paying MLB subscriber, it basically gets rid of all the blackouts. So that's how that works. Oh, that's a good question. Could we Chromecast through the phone? I could do that. And John says, check out the detective shows. Those are always pretty good, aren't they? So the Chromecasting, that's a good question because I suspect it will work. I'm thinking out loud here. Because if the Chromecast, which is what I'm using here, if the Chromecast is on this, then it will work. That should work. And as Mark says here, yeah, if you, I'm sorry, as Brandon says here, if you are blacked out on, yeah, so you can be blacked out on MLB TV even if you're paying for it. And what they're claiming, and I'm going to test this tonight. I won't be streaming when I do it, but if you're on this, it will get around your local blackout, so you could watch the game. So, and the other thing he suggested was connecting to DAZN, and you can stream the NFL football games through Canada. So that's kind of neat. So yeah, this thing seems to work. You know, we don't have a lot we can test. My big disappointment is the lack of Netflix at the moment, because that was the one that I really wanted to try out, because you can on so Netflix gets the new Star Trek shows in the UK, whereas Paramount Plus here in the US is all the Star Trek stuff. Price on this one, I think it's about $85 for this. There's a link in my description, in the video description. I'll take you right there. So let me see what they're charging for it. Yeah, it depends on where you buy it from. So Amazon has it for $100. It's a $85 thing on their thing. So it does work. Now, again, what happens is that after the first year, you have to pay to continue using it. So just be aware of that. There's a subscription that will do that. So, and what they tell me is that this will remove the blackouts. And if we go back to their website, let me pull this up again. I just disabled my thing here. Give me a second. Let me just readjust something here. I'm going to change my service order again. Okay, so now I should switch back to my Ethernet. And I'm going to pull up my vMix again just to show you what is supported right now. And what's cool so far is that it appears as though, here we go. Let me show you what I'm looking at. So we just tried the ITV hub, and we didn't have to do anything. We just loaded it. And because we connected the Chromecast to this over the Wi-Fi, it just worked. So you don't have to configure anything. It just works. You have to have an account. So all of this UK stuff just like routes automatically. This is what happens with it. So yeah, it seems to work as advertised there. I guess the big problem is just how do you get the app on your device, especially if you have like a Roku. I think that's going to be the impediment for, because it's simple from the setup standpoint. Brandon's saying, I came in sort of late. Yeah, so this will only work on the services that they list on their website. So I'll pull it back up here again. So if the service you are looking for is not on the list, it's not going to work. And of note, just know like Netflix doesn't work right now. So if you click on Netflix, it's temporarily unavailable. They just made some big changes on Netflix apparently. But this is what works with it. So tonight I'm going to try MLB TV right here. And it doesn't look like they have the NFL Sunday ticket, but what they said was if you have a subscription to DAZN, you switch it to Canada, and then it will let you watch the NFL games for whatever you're paying them. So let me go my StreamLocator. What was the address for that? my.streamlocator.com. And by the way, they print the URL right on the front of it here for you to configure it. So my.streamlocator.com. So what you then do is you go in here and set where you want these things to look at. So for example, DAZN you set to Canada apparently, or Germany, and then you can watch the NFL games. So then when it logs in, it goes in through Germany. Now what's this? Set up your US, UK. All right, let me try this link here real quick and see what this does. Oh, all right, well, let's try this real quick. Set your Roku country to the country of your Roku account. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what they mean by this. So Roku, let me learn more about how the Roku works. Okay, so this is the Roku thing. So let's take a look at the Roku thing. Roku devices only show you apps and channels that match your account country. To download streaming apps only available. Oh, I see. Uh-huh. So I'm going to have to set up a Roku just for the UK in order for this to work. So that's what you got to do there. Okay, so that's a little bit extra work, but I guess it's easier on the Roku actually if you do that. All right, so I've got to make a note on that. So you have to set up like a separate UK Roku account. But it might, once you do that, it might actually be easier. So you may want to just buy like another $30 Roku and have that be the British one or something, right? And I was reading about that. Some people have like one Roku for the US and one for the UK. I don't know how much longer they're going to let people get away with this stuff for, though. I mean, that's the thing. All right, so let's take a look at a few other questions here. David Bound once, that's not a bad way to go about it. Do a little screen sharing. That could work, right? What about updates to the firmware? So I'm assuming this is going to go out and request it. So it's double NATed right now, which means that it is a NAT router, and my router is connected to its WAN port. It's called double NAT. But that shouldn't be an issue in it getting updated. It should update itself. And I guess it's an OpenWRT framework, but the user has no control over it. They just update it automatically. Aaron Johnson says, I was reading through a lot of the services that work for this device for the US, and two of the most interesting services I spotted are the Roku channel and IMDb TV. Yes. And if we go back to the list here. So like I said, I think if you're outside the US, this might be really interesting. Because, and for example, I don't see IMDb TV on the list here, but it does say it supports it. So for example, I know that when we started looking at the Plex free content, they're probably not going to be happy about this, but when we were talking about the free Plex content, they are available internationally, but not every country gets all the content. So you could set it to the United States. So when you put the device outside the US, you can get into some of that stuff. So that's kind of neat. And so this is exactly like the kind of thing I think that could work for people. And in case you're just tuning in, this is a streaming relocator. It's called the StreamLocator, which is actually a very appropriate term. So what it can do, so just a minute ago, we sideloaded a couple of UK TV apps, and I was able to play them when connecting to its Wi-Fi here. So you don't have to install a VPN app on your device. So you could presumably connect your smart TV to this thing and just start streaming stuff. So that's kind of neat. And Declan says, yep, has second Roku on HDMI too. Exactly. You've got a UK Roku and another thing. Yeah, this is like kind of where I think its appeal is. And so what they list on their marketing for this, here, I'll show you what their marketing is very funny because, let's go back to their homepage here. What they're saying here is they say, leave the VPN. So you all are enthusiasts who watch me, but leave the VPN to enthusiasts. So you don't have to get a VPN. You buy the box and you connect to it and you're done. You want to watch the UK TV stuff, it just routes it automatically. You want to get rid of the MLB, whatever, it'll do that too. So, and we'll play a little bit more. I'm going to play a little bit more with this tonight because I want to get to I want to be able to get the game tonight, the Mets and the Yankees game on MLB.TV, so I want to try that out. So that is what we're going to play around with. What else we got here? Rusty Bob says I could watch snooker on the BBC. Yeah, you sure could. So yeah, that's kind of like kind of the gist of this. So pretty cool. So yeah, so I'm going to be going to my mom's house tonight for dinner, but I think while I'm there, I'll just bring a Roku with me and try the MLB app and see how that works. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? That's the other cool thing. I could just move. Yeah, I'll just take that thing with me because I can just grab everything and just go with it. That's what we're going to do. So pretty cool stuff. All right. Well, I just wanted to play around with it a little bit. I'll tell you what. In less than an hour, we were able to successfully do something with this. So that's kind of cool. So I'm going to come back with a review of this. I'm going to play around with it a little bit more. I want to get a better idea as to how everything works. And then we got to come up with some solutions for people to get these apps loaded on their devices. I think that's the big impediment, is that. So we'll have to play around a little bit more with some of those solutions there. But interesting stuff. Keith is saying, can they be held liable? I don't know. I don't think there's any law. You know, it's an international thing, right? So if in the UK, if you don't have a TV license, you're in trouble. But can they? They have no recourse against a foreign citizen outside of their country, right? So I think it's kind of a gray area. Although, Netflix might have in their terms of service, if you do this, we might do this to you. Netflix, what happened with Netflix is I guess they recently redid their entire architecture because there was too many people slipping through the location detector with the VPNs. So it apparently, whatever they just did, disabled a lot of VPN services and this thing too. So yes, they're going to let me borrow their MLB account and their DAZN account. So I'm going to try both of those just to see if it all works. And GoVols started following. Thank you for the follow on Amazon. And just so you know, like when we have the full review, I'm not going to be able to show any of the video because I'll get hit with copyright. So. Yeah, and this is the tricky thing with it as far as what it is, how it works. So it is not a VPN. What it's using, it depends on the service, they told me. So in some cases, they might have it, it might proxy whatever it uses to validate your location, and then it uses your regular IP to stream it back to. So you need to be paying for these services. It will not mask your IP, and it will proxy what it needs to, but for the most part, you're getting the full connection speed. So that's how I understand it. There's a lot of voodoo magic going on in here, and I guess what it is that they're tailoring the approach based on the service, which is why there's only specific services that it supports. And I guess the co-founder of this company is an expert in the DNS stuff. So that's how that works. Mark Smith wants to know, can I share my old streams? Yes, if you go to Lon.TV/livestreams, what is the address for that? Yeah, Lon.TV/livestreams, you can go right to my Amazon Live page, and I've got all the streams there. And then on the home page of my channel on YouTube, you can also find them there too. Keith is asking, is Peacock an available service? It is. And let me see how that works. So Peacock is listed on their supported channels. So let's see. If you go to StreamLocator.com, it'll take you there. And so if you are outside the US, you can watch Peacock like you were in the US. So yeah, if you're trying to watch Peacock outside the US, this will work with that. And you don't need to configure anything. Oh, this is a good question, Michael Kidd. Is there a way to cancel your subscription from your account page? That's a good question. Can you cancel it? Yes, there is a billing section. Yes, so I can cancel the subscription. So I will try after I finish doing the review. But you can do that. Yeah, if you click on your account, I'm not showing it because it's got all my information on there. But if you click on the account, you can do that. Yeah, this is kind of cool. Yeah, so I got to play around a little bit more with this. Yeah, I think the hard part here is getting the apps on your smart device. I think that's going to prove to be the challenge. But it does seem like, we were able to get it working quickly, but I know how to sideload stuff, right? So that's kind of the thing. All right. Well, everybody, I think we've accomplished the initial goal here of trying to figure out what this thing is and is not. So I've got a good handle on that. And I'm going to come back with a more concise review of this so you can get a better feel for exactly what it does. But I think if you're not scared of sideloading, it did seem to get itself up and running pretty quickly here. So pretty cool. It's a neat idea. So that's good stuff. All right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye to you all. I hope you had a good time. And Mark Smith is going to do a video. Yes, I did one a while ago. Maybe I should do an update. And I'm always reluctant on sideloading because it does carry some risk. But I think we can demo APK Mirror and see how it works. So that might be something we do separately. All right. Well, everybody, I am going to come back with a review of this soon. So stay tuned, and thanks for tuning in. See you in a little bit. Bye-bye.